Nothing to see here. I'm just trying to shift my frequency. I'm trying to raise my vibration in a new way by turning my perspective upside down. Hey, it is your girl Abby, aka New Age Coach here, and I am lighting the way for those on their way to the light, to my soul vibers. That is those of you who are already subscribed. Thank you. Anyone new just tuning in, welcome. On this channel, we talk all things self and soul development. So if you like that vibe and want to join the tribe, hit subscribe. In this video, I'm going to talk about 3 new twists on how to raise your vibration, or 3 new twists on old kind of spiritual practices, because we're all different people and we all experience life different ways and need different tools and mechanisms to process this spiritual journey. And this video was inspired from this week, and I want to give a shout out to my lovely bae. Y'all see my bae on Bed with Bae series every week, and you know what happened is I started to record a video earlier in the week, and I've been in a space of a spiritual void, of really disconnectedness, and a space of just not my most high vibe, right? And I decided to record a video from that space. And before I decided to hit that upload button, which I was literally going to call that video of a rant from the void, because I went off. I reverted back to my 5-year-old self. Like I threw a temper tantrum pretty much on camera, and I really was still gonna upload it just so that y'all could see, like, this is what the spiritual process looks like. It's not all beautiful all the time, even though we all want it to be. There's these layers that we have to dig through and process, and shadow work, and feeling disconnected and feeling outside of ourselves and overwhelmed, and just like we're absolutely going crazy. That's the space I made the video for. And when I let TC watch that video, he was like, you know what? I love you too much, girl. I love you too much. That's not constructive. That's not helpful for anyone. I get your point in wanting to share the actual authentic experience, but you're acting like a whiny 5-year-old. That honesty is why I love him. So thank you, babe. And you also inspired this video, because I started to think, you know what? We all need different ways to cope with these things and get out of that negative vibration or those lower vibrations to be able to elevate, right? To be able to constructively process these emotions and understand what they're here for, what they're trying to tell us, and, raise our consciousness. So with that, I decided, you know what, let me share some interesting ways, some new twists on the normal stuff. And in this video, that's what we're talking about. 3 new twists on old ways that I, walk through this spiritual journey. The first new twist on an old spiritual practice is around journaling, okay? I know that journaling is so powerful. Writing things down, taking things that are internally inside you and giving them a life externally so that you can face it, something physical in this 3D world that you can actually look at and process to see what comes out of you. That's the beauty of journaling. That's the beauty of writing things down. That energy is solidified once you put that pen to the paper, and you can work on releasing that and letting it go and actually seeing it, because sometimes we get so clouded in our heads and everything's just swirling around that we can't make sense because we're in it. So getting it out is a way for you to face it, right? I 100% believe in the power of journaling and the power of writing things down. But not everyone jives with that. For me, I have a really hard time actually just bringing myself to sit down and write things down. I'm a type of person where my mind is constantly kind of feeling like it's going, especially in times of the void. It feels like it's going like a million miles per minute. So the thought of trying to sit down and focus that energy, it actually gives me more anxiety. And after I made that video this week, what I realized is, you know what? This is a great tip. The new twist on journaling that you all can try, if this actually works better for you, is making a video of yourself, right? Just hitting that record button. Now, this video doesn't have to go anywhere. It doesn't have to be on YouTube. You don't have to save it, or maybe you want to save it so that you can refer back to it. But just like the act of journaling, videotaping yourself to me was actually more powerful, because as I then got to watch that video back, I was able to actually see my mannerisms, see where I put more focus on a word, or where I got all worked up because my hands were going like a mile per minute, or you can just see my body tense up in certain ways when I said certain things and certain triggers in that video. So having a visual representation while I was talking really let me focus in. I understood exactly where the root cause of a lot of where that video stemmed from. And it was from needing validation and kind of items around self-worth and value and giving power to other people when I am more than enough. And I wouldn't have come to that conclusion had I not been able to watch that video back with all of those visual cues. We're visual creatures. So sometimes the paper doesn't necessarily come to life when you're journaling the way it does when you can watch yourself back. And furthermore, something super cathartic about that was, like I said, I was actually able to share the video with someone who loves me and that I love, so that they could be part of this experience. Mental health is so important too, and sometimes it's hard for people, myself included, to express ourselves in words sometimes to those that we need to have a conversation with or need to tell how we're feeling, but we just don't know how. So having this little visual video to actually give to someone I love, to be like, just listen to this, this is where I'm at, and having them be able to sit with me and help me process through those emotions and have that support, it was so profound and beautiful. And again, it was an inspiration for this video, because in this time where a lot of us are still in quarantine and really working through kind of this whole isolation, technology, man, you can literally just go ahead and email this video or text it to a friend if you need to talk to someone, whereas you can't really, in a timely fashion, mail your journal over to somebody. Do you know what I mean? So in these times too, it's a really constructive tool. The second new twist on an old spiritual practice is around meditation. So with meditation, again, I fully believe in the power of meditation. It has absolutely transformed my life over these last year and a half plus, okay? Meditation is such a powerful, beautiful tool to tap into your inner guidance system, your higher self, your intuition. It is mwah. However, a lot of people, when they hear the word meditation, they're like, no, like instant resistance. Like, no, I have too many thoughts in my head. I don't know how to sit still. I have too many things going on. Like, I don't know how to meditate. I don't even know what meditation is. All fair points. But I think what's so important around meditation is that, like all of the different varieties of people, there's so many different ways that we can think about meditation. So if we just take it down to the basics, like meditation, as far as I'm concerned, is a way to really, not escape, like when we're talking about being in these lower vibrations and dense, frequencies, like I'm talking about, this void, this kind of icky kind of like heaviness, right? When you're in that space, it's not using meditation as a tool to escape this 3D world, this earth, this life that you're in here and now. Instead, it's about being able to go within to ask questions and get some guidance from yourself and be able to hear that, or get a feel for what you need to do to change out of that, so that you can raise that vibration, so that you can be able to take tangible, logistical next steps in the life, again, that you have to go back to outside of meditation. And meditation doesn't have to be sitting and going om and like all these like weird things sometimes you see around the spiritual community that like sometimes media makes a mockery of. It doesn't all have to be like that hippy dippy type stuff. Meditation could be cooking. Meditation can be when you're going for that walk in nature without you even realizing your meditation. Wherever your happy place is, that's what meditation is. Because at the root of it, when we're talking about the topic of this video, how to raise your vibration, how to raise that frequency from where you're at, that's exactly what meditation is doing. It's shifting the energy that you're in, so that when you come out of a meditation, you're at a higher frequency, right? You're able to see things from a different, higher perspective. That's why it's called our higher self when we're meditating and getting that guidance. You can't see the problem in the same space that the problem was created. If you're on the same vibrancy of the problem, same wavelength of the problem, you're not gonna be able to figure out what the solution is, because all you can see is that same frequency of what that problem is. So think about it like this. You're in a huge commercial property building, right? You're on the first floor. If you look out the window on that first floor, all you're able to see is maybe what's directly in front of you, maybe some trees to the right, maybe a road to the left, but you can't see anything else. It's just, that is your view from the first floor. Let's call that the problem in this example, or those lower energies that you're feeling. However, if you were to take an elevator up to the 60th floor of that high-rise building that we're talking about, this commercial building, then you would be able to look out that window, and now you have a different perspective. Not only can you look straight ahead and maybe see clouds because you're so high in the air, right? Or birds flying by, but you're able to look down to see a more holistic view of that problem, where it originated, but you have this higher vision to understand all the things that connect that problem that might help you solve it. So if you were lost on that first floor trying to find directions just by looking out the window, you might have not seen that there was like a little hidden pathway to the right that you could take that would take you to a highway. And when you're on that 60th floor, you're like, oh, okay, all I saw on that first floor was this one little road that had a gate blocked off, but didn't even know there was this little pathway I could go that way. That's the guidance. That is meditation. That is what we're talking about when shifting our vibrancy and our frequency, okay? So that was a really long-winded way just to explain the concept of how beautiful meditation is and what it's for. So the first tip under this umbrella of a new twist for meditation is to actually move things around and change your environment, right? So if I'm in this room and I'm just sitting here where I made that video, you know, the rant from the void, and I'm stressed out and this room is a mess. I had laundry all behind me that I hadn't put away. It was like stocked up to the pile. Everything was thrown. I had dirty plates here because I had just been working all week and haven't even like had a chance to clean. And I'm just trying to figure out like my life in this space that is visually representing to me my internal space being such a mess. In order to change that and be able to get a different perspective on what I'm feeling, I literally could just walk out into my living room and maybe take a minute there, actually change my scenery. There's a different energy in each room, in each space. It sounds so simple, and you know why? It's because it is, and it'll work. It'll give you a new perspective to sit out there and gather yourself, gather your thoughts, understand what's going on, so that by the time you come back, you've got a new, fresher, even if it's just like a little tad up this notch of this emotional frequency chart, you know, like if you were angry and you just moved up to like slightly less angry, right? You don't have to go just to straight joy, but just that little shift in energy and the change of rooms, it'll allow you to come back, move up that little notch, which then might promote you to maybe pick up those dishes and put one or two away so that you take in a physical step to match and actually clean up your space, which will then again help your frequency keep rising because you're actually taking action and it makes you feel better. Everything is a cause in chain reaction. Now, this is the same concept as what we just said, actually changing your space, but instead of actually leaving where you're at, change your physical being. Change the way you are looking at something physically. Mentally and physically have those match, right? So if I was sitting down and couldn't realize like what it was I was feeling or what I was trying to process, if I got up and shifted my perspective, literally laying upside down, just literally changing my energy, my body, my position, I am able to see everything in a new way. So for example, like I was talking about, maybe sitting there, I was looking at all those dirty dishes that were stressing me out and contributing, and I was mismatching how my life is a mess and how my room is a mess, and this like whole hodgepodge of all these things that are a mess in my life. If I just got up and went upside down, I see a new perspective. I can't even see those dishes from this perspective anymore because all I can see is under that desk. And I'm like, oh, hey, there was that key that I lost last week. That's cool, I just found that. And it gets me thinking about that key now that I found. This is actually a win. I shifted my perspective. I could only see one way when I was sitting at my desk, but upside down, I can actually see a different viewpoint. And again, that's metaphorically, but it also helps you take that same perspective to your spiritual practice. One other little kind of new twist that falls under this meditation umbrella and also around shifting the vibration to get a new perspective is really putting something again into physical terms. So one idea that TC gave me after that video is what exactly I'm sharing with you because I thought it was so brilliant. sometimes if we look at a problem that's so big, it can seem overwhelming. And in spirituality, it gets really easy to think that everything affects everything. So when I was in that space making that video, I was like, I'm learning this theme about myself and it applies right now. I'm being shown it in this situation in my life. I'm being shown it in this situation in my life. And then it brings up my ancestors, and then it brings up my past, and then I've had certain past lives, and then it's this person reflecting. And I couldn't separate exactly like what the root of what I was feeling was from my childhood, from my past. Like, to me, it was like spaghetti. I was bringing all of these issues into this one big bowl of pasta that was all intertwined, and I couldn't figure out how to just like pull one strand at a time. And that's when things seem overwhelming, when we can't compartmentalize. And sometimes that's really hard in spirituality when we get into those denser energies, because you don't have clarity and it seems overwhelming. So one cool new trick to that is literally take 3 boxes or however many boxes you need with the lid on it. So for example, if I'm having a hard time separating my spiritual lessons and my career, right? When 5 o'clock comes, my new trick will be to shut down my computer and put it in a box physically that I've labeled work. If I'm feeling something karmic come up, like, childhood trauma, for example, right? Childhood trauma, put that in my spiritual box, put the lid on that. And that will allow me to compartmentalize and really keep things where they belong. Yes, of course, in this life, everything is interconnected. We are all interconnected. There is absolutely meaning to everything, absolutely. But as humans, our physical brains can't sometimes compute that. And that's when we then short circuit that rant from the void that I was having. So the perspective and new twist for you is you will be able to get that meditational guidance from yourself the more you can compartmentalize sometimes and physically put things into different spaces that they belong, and then be able to help you sort through those one by one as needed, okay? It's just such a beautiful symbolic exercise to try. And thirdly, the new twist on an old spiritual practice is around manifestation. So the point that I want to make here is, typically when spiritual communities are talking about manifestation and the law of attraction, right? It's really this idea of calling into your life things that you want. You visualize and you attract more of what you want into your life. Abundance, prosperity, love, a partner, a text message, whatever you want, you're calling in something. And really, there's a little hidden kind of trick with manifestation in that you have to be very careful with how this principle works, because ultimately manifestation can sometimes mean you're operating from a place of lack to begin with. I don't have the job that I want, so I want to manifest the job that I want. That's coming from a space of lack. I don't yet have. I want, I don't have. And as we know, like frequency attracts like frequency, like vibration attracts like vibration. So you could possibly accidentally be attracting more lack. The more you want to call in this dream job, you're actually creating situations where you're stuck in an old job or without a job, or the opposite of what you actually intended. So the idea with manifestation that I'm giving a new twist is to really stop asking and wishing, the fundamentals of manifestation, right? Stop asking and wishing, but instead start giving and doing. So the new twist with this is really kind of thinking about it like opposite. Whatever you're trying to manifest, think of the opposite. So take a little game with yourself, and that'll guide your actions from a more inspired place. So for example, what's the opposite of give? It's take, right? So the way I laid out manifestation for you is really this idea of taking. It comes from a place of I want to take abundance, I want to take love, I want to take this, I want to take, right? Because you don't have it. So that's the same frequency. Take is the same frequency of lack. It's these lower vibrational kind of frequencies where it's signifying to the universe that it's more of a greedy, I don't have, I want, scarcity, lack, come to me. You're calling it in from that kind of perspective. The opposite of take is give. So anytime you want to work with this spiritual concept of manifestation, that's the new twist that you work with. If you want to manifest more love, it's not coming from a place of I don't have love in this new game, in this new twist. The times that you're feeling like you lack love, You have to give love. That's the catch 22. Send your intentional love out to someone. Say a prayer for someone. Give someone a high five or a hug. Tell somebody you love them. Give your love freely. You want to manifest abundance, okay? Again, instead of operating from this place of, I don't have enough, I need more money, I can't pay my bills, I'm going to manifest $100, right? No, opposite. Give. If you want to manifest abundance, go buy somebody's coffee behind you in the drive-through line. Go give a couple bucks to a charity. Every dollar helps. Give your money freely and it will come back tenfold. And that's why they always say, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. So would you want to get these things back from the way you thought about manifestation before this video, from that place of just needing and needing and needing? Or would you rather get the wish that you wanted when it came from a place of authenticity, of love, of genuine, whatever the word is, being genuine? Anyway, this video is getting super long, so I hope you enjoyed some of the new twists that I've offered to you. Definitely drop me a comment below if you try one of these new twists. Let me know, how did it work for you? Do you have any weird things that you do that raise your vibration? Let's keep it in the comments so we can share these ideas, because the ultimate goal is for us all to rise up and be the best that we can be. And sometimes, yes, it's hard, but it's all beautiful. So please remember to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay hopeful.